This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
We'll address it.
Welcome to DBL. It's Monday, June 14th. I'm Tori here with Al and Lindsay. Al has a bit of a nosebleed, so we're trying to take
a legitimate nosebleed.
Like a legit one, so we're being super honest and keeping it real, but let's get started. Here is a question for all of you. What does it take for you to get involved in a tense public situation? So we got a couple examples. Here's the first, and a warning to some of our viewers. What you're seeing is a little disturbing. This is an off-duty flight attendant. He got up, started using the plane's PA system, telling everyone to prepare to put on their oxygen masks. This led to a scuffle with other flight attendants. At one point, the captain of the plane gets on the intercom, literally asking for help. Take a listen.
We'd like all strong males to the front of the aircraft to handle the problem passenger.
Lots of men responded to the captain's announcement, and the off-duty flight attendant was wrestled to the ground in the aisle. Now, in this very large scuffle, the plane did have to be diverted to Oklahoma City, and the unruly passenger was removed by authorities. So the question is, first off, glad everyone's okay. Very scary. Do you get involved in a situation like this, and why? I really, really think I would jump in immediately. Lindsay, what do you think?
Well, I think when they made the announcement for strong males, I probably would have sat that one out. but I hope that I was traveling with somebody that would, even if it's a strong woman, like, I don't want to get in the way. When I saw how many people ran up there, I was like, okay, maybe I would step aside for like the men that were really going to tackle this other man and bring him to the ground, because I was thinking, I had talked to Colin about it over the weekend, like, what would you do? He was like, just sit tight. If we were on the plane together, I would go up there. So I think there's enough men on the plane or enough strong people on the plane, stronger than a pregnant lady, that could bring the guy down. I think you would still run up there.
I still would, and I would have been like, that was sexist to say men only.
Oh my gosh. But he was trying, I mean, that's the announcement you don't think about hearing.
Yeah.
When you're on the plane, you might say, okay, we're going to experience some turbulence. Somebody saying we need strong males to the front. And think about those people sitting in first class that saw that he was trying to, he's a flight attendant that knew how to undo that door.
Yeah, his whole thing, if you guys didn't know, is he kept threatening to undo the door, open the door mid-flight. I'm going to open the door mid-flight. And when you know he's an off-duty flight attendant, you know, I don't think that's physically possible, but he would know something more than the average person.
Right, like emergency opening.
Yeah,
so that's really scary.
Yeah, he's getting evaluated by mental health professionals at the moment.
And so that frustrates me too, because I feel like this, as much as, so there's been 2,900 incidents that have been unruly passenger related on airlines in the last 6 months. This is this year alone. So that frustrates me to know about all these things that are happening. And so I don't want to get into the point where I do respect mental health issues, but I don't want that to keep being the excuse about why people are acting like this. And we talk about this on the show all the time about why people are behaving so irrationally, and to me it's just not acceptable. Even fighting at the airport, we've seen those videos. This on the airplane, it's like everyone is not going through some mental health crisis. Everyone is being a little crazy, and we have to get to the bottom of this and put people in jail, because he could have killed people.
I agree. Southwest, I think American and Delta have stopped serving alcohol due to this uprising, and just so you guys know, Delta has had like 3 of these incidents in the last couple of weeks. So you're absolutely right, it's become a thing. Let's try and stop it, but let us know if you would have jumped in. I so would have. I really would have. Here's another example for you. A man seen trying to block a woman from leaving a Walmart. It's not entirely clear what the woman allegedly did. The person who posted the video claims she took items without paying. Another guy, okay, the music is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is
another guy eventually jumps in to help. Would you get involved in a situation like this and try to stop someone? And this is when I say absolutely not.
Walmart has insurance. Like, it's not your job to do like the basketball move back and forth with the person. Like, and this is the airplane is life or death. Somebody allegedly, anyone stealing from any store allegedly is not worth, I think, running them down, because you never know how crazy they are or how much maybe they need it. And Walmart can figure it out with their insurance about how to replace it. Stealing is not okay, but also, I know that I wouldn't have jumped in there. I would have been like, hey, that's weird. Let me try to help them get the manager.
Yeah, Walmart can handle whatever it is that she allegedly did. I'm not getting involved in that. But it's also, if you guys, I don't know if you know the Genovese effect. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So this is super interesting. It's a very famous case. Kitty Genovese was killed by a knife, stabbed in front of an apartment building in the 70s in New York. It's kind of a famous case. And she was screaming for help. And allegedly, 38 people saw, witnessed, heard, and no one called the police. And it changed the way people saw psychology, thinking the other person will do it. Someone else is doing it. Someone else is doing it. And because I grew up with a mother in emergencies, I'm always like, no one else is going to do it. I got to do it. I got to be that person.
But that's the thing. It's like no one called the police. Like, the job of the police or the security at any store would be to handle that situation. Don't become the police.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't be like witness. I mean, don't be that person that wants to run. Because if you get hurt, then what happens?
No, it's a terrible idea to do the what do you call it? The basketball.
I don't know what the basketball. I know I used to play basketball and I hated that thing at practice.
Do it. Arms wide, arms wide. They always did that. All right. I don't want to get to this story. That's why I'm not doing it. The next story is my worst nightmare, literally. And it's also a little biblical. Okay.
You want me to do it, Tori?
Yeah. I didn't even like the picture.
It's about whales, my favorite. A lobster diver was diving off the coast in Cape Cod when he says he was swallowed whole by Tori's favorite, a humpback whale.
Stop.
You heard me right? A humpback whale. He says he was swallowed by the whale, so take a look.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. I'm in the mouth of a whale with his mouth shut.
Oh my gosh. The man says that the whale finally spat him out after 30 seconds. And now some are saying this is a whale of a tale.
Okay, we got
story type joke.
Okay.
And don't believe this. And if you don't believe this man's story, including a lot of people don't believe this man's story, including a doctor who said he should have suffered from trauma having surfaced as quickly as he did because he went really low,
deep,
came back up. So what do you think of this? I know you don't want to talk about this, but we got Al missing, so we need to talk about it.
All right. First off, I want to say I love that mammal. I don't say the word. I love it. It's my biggest fear in the world, but I love their matriarchal. They're smart. They love their offspring. They're very kind, gentle creatures. I think they're too big. I don't like the ribbed part in the mouth. I don't like anything. I don't even like thinking about this.
But it's not like you walk down the street and like pass a whale.
I know.
Why
I know.
Are you so like? How often do you see?
It's true. When I was 3, they took me to the New York History Museum, and there's a life-size blue skeleton whale on the ceiling. And apparently, I had a breakdown, like as a 3-year-old. So it's ever been since then. Now this guy claims he could feel the whale's muscles contracting to try and swallow him. He also was in like a plane crash many years ago and survived a major Costa Rican plane crash. A lot of people are like, is this guy for real?
But that's the thing. If somebody went through that experience, the first thing I would want to hear after I'm still alive with all them bandages in the hospital is not the doctors telling me, your story sounds a little messed up. Like,
sounds fishy.
He's alive. Just give him a chance. I think
you're right.
So I want to believe him.
Okay,
I don't
fair.
know the actual possibility of him going really deep in the ocean and coming back up in 30 seconds and being okay. But if he says he got swallowed by a whale, these doctors never got swallowed by a whale. They never did tests on people getting swallowed by a whale. So how do they know that he didn't get swallowed by a whale?
It's true. We don't know. And the thing is, he has soft tissue damage, if you didn't know, because of the compacting thing with the eating. And
you told me that whales don't even have big teeth, so what are you scared of?
I don't care about the size. I don't care for the size. All right. We have to give a big DBL shout out to this adorable Pekingese named Wasabi.
Aww.
Wasabi won Best in Show at this year's annual Westminster Dog Show. His breeder, and they said they celebrated the big win. Wasabi got some filet mignon, and the breeder had some champagne. There's also some other viral video from this big dog show. Check this out. A trainer nearly fell on his dog during the agility. Okay! After he tripped after the tunnel, but Ripple, the Boston Terrier, was agile enough to dodge his human. Ripple went on to finish the course, but a border collie named Verb ended up winning.
Wouldn't you be annoyed if your trainer, who's been training you for all this time to get ready for this moment, almost fell on you? I mean, I don't know if dogs think that far into things.
Well, it's just so ironic that he's so not agile on an agility course. I just feel really bad for the guy. But big shout out to Wasabi. They don't run. You know how you see them usually run around? Pekingese just waddle. And people really loved the waddle. And we just wanted to say bravo and mazel tov. Congratulations to Wasabi.
I should put my dog in it next year.
Jiggly?
Yeah. he's too chubby.
He's chubby. Coming up on DBL, but we love him. Is David Arquette ready to spill any Scream 5 secrets? We're asking him. And mandatory COVID vaccines are upsetting some hospital workers. Why a judge just threw out their case. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning provided by
Now that school's winding down, it's time for summer camp, right? Well, a serious shortage of counselors could leave some kids on the couch. Let's connect the dots. As summer vacation kicks into gear and coronavirus cases fall, a lot of kids and their parents are looking forward to summer camp. The child tax credit is also making camp affordable for more families. But like a lot of businesses, summer camps are having trouble getting enough workers. That's forcing some to limit admission or close altogether. While the camp counselor shortage is similar to other businesses and the staffing crunch, there's another COVID side effect. A lot of camps rely on foreign workers with temporary visas to staff everything from the arts and crafts cabin to the lifeguard chair. Because of travel restrictions and processing problems, those visas are tough to come by. In order to apply for the so-called J-1 visa, applicants have to show up in person at a U.S. embassy. Right now, some of those embassies are still closed or operating with limited hours because of the virus. Usually, more than 25,000 counselors get those visas for camp. Last year, it was just over 200. No word how many will get approved this year.
Welcome back to DBL. No, you're not crazy. This is not Al. This is Jeff.
We look just alike.
You look totally similar.
Same.
Nice job stepping in for Al. Appreciate that.
Got here a little early. And,
Jumped in.
Jumped right in.
That's what
we do here.
happens. That's DBL for you. All right, we got an update on that hospital in Houston that required, remember, I got a lot of flack for this, all its employees to get vaccinated. Y'all came at me. Nearly 180 refused, and almost all of them filed a lawsuit. Well, a federal judge has now thrown out the case, saying the claim that the vaccines are experimental and dangerous is false and otherwise irrelevant. The judge also said the employees can choose to get vaccinated or not, and if they refuse, they can work somewhere else. I also want to say that these 180 people with their attorneys claimed that what they were going through was similar to Jews during the Nazis eras doing experimental medical tests on them. And I just, as a Jew, would be remiss if I didn't say how reprehensible of you, how wrong of you, and shame on you. I just had to get that out there. How do you guys feel about a mandated vaccine? I'm for a federal mandate, and I know a lot of people did not agree with me that day when I said it. What do you think, Jeff?
I'm still on board the incentive train, right? I think you catch more bees with honey. Isn't that how that goes?
I think that's
Yes,
it.
but
it doesn't
Flies with honey?
No, it's bees. They like honey.
But they make honey.
Yeah, they don't eat the honey.
I'm confused about that
I
whole
agree.
thing, as well as this story. So I'm all for that, right? I'm all for incentivizing people. You're never going to get 100% of the people to commit to anything, whatever, no matter what it is. I don't know about a federal mandate making people get the vaccine if they don't want to. I don't like my famous quote, the government governing.
Too much governing.
I don't like too much governing.
He doesn't like when government governs.
But I think people need to make their own choices, but there needs to be some sort of rule, especially in a hospital, for people that are immunocompromised with someone treating them that doesn't have the vaccine.
I mean, you're about to have a baby. How would you like it if you didn't know who was vaccinated?
Well, I think it's odd that these are the hospital workers, like you said, that are pushing for not getting the vaccine when they've seen the amount of deaths that we had in hospital. They've dealt with it throughout the process. And so I always think that there has to be room for people who are saying religious or medical reasons why they're not getting it. But if it's not one of those two, and you're using these examples, like you said, comparing it to horrendous experiences in the past is ridiculous. It just sounds like you want to have your choice, and you have your choice of a job too. You don't have to work at that hospital. I think private companies should have the opportunity to tell employees, you need to get vaccinated. This is our company, and this is a way that we can keep down medical costs. We can make sure we're not missing employees. Like, there are real reasons why people should mandate it per company. But because we didn't mandate anything throughout the whole entire coronavirus, we didn't even mandate lockdown. To mandate everyone to get a vaccine, to me, is ridiculous in the fourth quarter. So I'm with you. Completely against it.
Come tell us what you all feel, because it's time.
Actually, just Tori, because me and Lindsay agree.
But come at Tori again.
Please don't. I had a rough night that night. All right, some parents at a high school in New Jersey are upset, all because they say the school marked students at the prom based on their vaccine status. So those that were vaccinated got a red mark on their hand, and those without proof of vaccination got a black mark. The school said the marks were to better help contact tracing, but some parents said this was like marking the students with a scarlet letter. Is this fair?
So I think that young kids still, I know that when you're 18 or 17, whatever age you are at prom, like, a lot of kids, people are saying you can make your own decisions, but I think as a parent, you're still making your kids' decisions when they're in high school. And so if you said you're not getting vaccinated, why are we now being penalized at a school event because we didn't get vaccinated, or because we did, now why are we being praised?
Because if I had kids at that school, I'd want them to stay away, and I mean this honestly.
Your kids
from
should
the
probably
kids
skip the event then, because half the school's not going to get vaccinated.
But I can't imagine I would say, don't go to your prom. You did all the right things. Just stay 6 feet away from those with the black mark. Now, I hear you. This becomes very segregation, doesn't it? Doesn't this read a little It's getting a little slippery slope.
Putting markings on people? Yes. I mean, do they not have the internet? Do they not know what's going on in the world?
Some people do wristbands at parties.
I mean, listen, here's the thing. I don't understand. If I was vaccinated or my child was vaccinated, I'd be perfectly fine with sending them to prom with people that aren't vaccinated as long as they didn't have some pre-existing condition. So that's what the vaccine's all about, to protect you from the virus. If you're protected from the virus, what is the big deal if you're dancing with people who didn't necessarily get the vaccine? And how do we differentiate someone who already got coronavirus, built up antibodies, and doesn't want to get the vaccine anyway?
That's a polka dot that they give. That's right. Yeah, you're right. It's ridiculous. You're absolutely right.
Right
no,
now,
it's
someone's kid is just a no.
It's a bad idea. I tried to debate it, but you both won. All right, coming up on DBL, David Arquette and Baron Davis. They're telling us all about their new movie, Domino, Battle of the Bones. It gets funny. It gets weird.
Here's what our viewer wanted to know. Can using sunscreen with benzene do more harm than good? For the answer, we went to Dr. Alyssa Daniel, a dermatologist with Novant Health, and Valissure, the consumer safety-focused company that detected that chemical in sunscreens.
The risk of benzene is that what we know is that it can lead to some cancers.
Valissure just released its report showing 27% of sunscreens sampled, essentially 78 products, had up to 3 times the FDA-restricted limits of benzene.
These are big name brand ones that lots of families are using. A lot of them, if you look at the list, are spray sunscreens.
Daniel says we can't scientifically verify whether benzene in that form is riskier than going without sunscreen, since that specifically hasn't been studied. But her bottom line advice is don't take the chance.
We have to assume that in any component in sunscreen where it should not be, that it could be considered unsafe, absolutely.
But she says the lesson here isn't to ditch the lotion. She suggests checking the Valissure list for products that were in the clear and sticking with those.
Dominoes, the greatest game ever invented. My great-great-great-great-grandfather learned the game from the Chinese. Then he smuggled it back to America, where it's spread like on ribs.
Oh, Snoop, he's always so classy. Welcome back to DBL. That was a clip from the film Domino, Battle of the Bones. And earlier, we caught up with actor David Arquette and director Baron Davis to talk about it and all things Domino. Check out this hilarious Chatting with the Stars. David Arquette and Baron Davis, welcome to DBL. It is such a pleasure to have you on, and we're going to get to your new movie, which sounds amazing. But first, David, one of your famous roles is Sheriff Dewey Riley from the Scream franchise, and you are starring in the upcoming 5th film. So is there any, like, insider info you can give us about the movie, like, who did it?
No, I can't talk about it at all. But I can't talk about Domino's Battle of the Bones.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Oh, man, it's such a fun movie. I mean, Baron's incredible. First-time director. He did a great job. Wrote the script with his friends. The whole group put together this amazing movie. Just so many talented people in it. It's so much fun.
Baron, like David said, this is your first time directing. So how'd you make that transition from basketball into Hollywood?
For me, I think, I was kind of like somebody, they call him a gym rat in basketball. I guess in film, you would call him like a production rat. So I would just hang around, commercials and things like that. And then I got lucky, I had a bunch of friends kind of pick it outside of David Arquette's house and be like, sign up to support the movement.
I like it.
Yeah, I made that crossover from the NFL to TV in Hollywood. The biggest struggle has been the teleprompter, so bear with me on this one, fellas. And, you know, David, you're actually an athlete as well. I mean, you're a pro wrestler, so I want to know, which job do you enjoy most, acting or wrestling? And would you fight one of the Paul brothers? Ooh.
Oh, man. Wrestling hurts. That's just, I think I'm done with all that. I'll stick to playing dominoes now. But the Paul brothers, I don't know. It's been crazy seeing all that. It's fun to watch.
I just want that to be your promo. It's fun to watch.
Let's face it, you really just want to see the guys get punched.
Totally. All right, let's get to Domino, Battle of the Bones. Okay, now this is a comedy about a black man who teams up with his awkward white grandson to defeat his rival in a domino tournament. First, I've got to ask you, Baron, why dominoes? Talk to me.
I wanted to tell these stories of people that I watched growing up that I thought were funny and hilarious. And that's why I put it in, that's why I wrote this movie.
You guys mentioned Snoop's in the movie and everybody loves Snoop, but I want to know, David, not acting, just in a true game of bones between you and Snoop, who would win and why?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Ooh.
Oh, man, I'm sure Snoop's got the experience. So I would just hope I drew some lucky bones and figure it out.
That's a pay-per-view I pay for.
Snoop has a master.
I had a public Los Angeles high school education, so my math skills are not the best.
Baron, how about you versus Snoop, Baron? Who would win that?
Well, I would definitely win. I haven't lost. I wrote the movie because I ain't never really lost a game of dominoes that I can remember. And my family, my great ancestors, they actually put the black dots on the tile to create dominoes.
Wow. Unbelievable. I really want David.
You know what? The only reason he's never lost is because when it gets down to the last couple bones, it's like, oh, you see that over there? Game never ends.
You think you could slam your dominoes down?
And I can talk smack like he said.
How would you slam down your dominoes?
Yeah. I would say this. Abracadabra, this.
You can practice on the dominoes Battle of the Bones.
You're amazing, guys. Thank you so much. David and Baron, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for chatting about your new movie. Don't forget to catch Domino, Battle of Bones, out in theaters right now. Such a pleasure. We'll be right back. Bye, gentlemen.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Experts pointed out that these car warranty schemes are popular for a number of reasons. Number one, just about everyone has a car, so it's pretty believable. And number two, some of these calls are actually legitimate.
These vehicle warranty extensions can show up by mail or by phone.
We've been trying to reach you concerning your car's extended warranty.
Well, it certainly is the #1 most reported robocall to the FCC. People are sick of these calls.
You've probably wondered, why is the car warranty scheme so popular? Our sources are Alex Kalichi from UMail, a company that specializes in blocking robocalls, and Amy Knopfziger, Director of Fraud Victim Support for AARP.
A lot of times when you buy a car, you check a box or you sign something that says, you can call me or email me or text me with information about the car I purchased and related products.
Alex Kalichi explained sometimes your dealer will farm out those warranty calls to other companies.
The problem is there are other people just calling everybody in the hopes of finding somebody who needs what may be a legal product or may just be a scam. Some of these are just complete scams.
When someone calls telling you that your car is not covered and puts this fear in you, we listen.
That fear, combined with legitimate calls about car warranties, makes it a perfect scam opportunity.
It's just kind of a chance. Most of us do own a vehicle, right? And so the criminals can blast out billions of these calls every year.
So if you're not already doing it, our experts say don't answer the call, certainly don't click, just hang up when you hear
your car's extended warranty
on the other end.
So why can't we just block them? It's the same reason you can't block all robocalls. Because some are legitimate, the government as well as the phone companies can't just blanket block all robocalls. What we'll need is advances in technology to sort out the good calls from the scam calls. With your Verify, I'm Matt Gregory.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. First off, Al, everyone's worried about you, and thanks, Jeffrey, for stepping in.
Nick.
Yeah, just a Nick. Just a Nick. Everyone knows how that goes. All right, we also got a woman here. Cindy, who writes this. I did detain a woman at a craft store.
Ooh.
Speaking about shoplifters. She had stolen a lot of items in her bag. When she tried to leave, the cashier tried to stop her. I was close to the exit. I blocked her. I knew her very well, and I got all my items for free.
She knew her? Like that was her homegirl?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you stealing? Like knitting needles? What are you doing?
I just think this is a particular case. Like a lot of times you're not going to know the person.
If someone steals knitting needles, you go ahead.
You go ahead.
Have a
You
good
go
day.
ahead. DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.